You'll never find a moment on this show where we're not going to talk about the good work done by the Chicago Police Department and its great folks as well. Introduce the commander in studio.
14th District Commander Melinda Linas, our friend. Thank you so much for coming in. We got a lot to talk to you about.
Yeah, thank you for having me again.
Congratulations again on the new position, newly appointed commander of 14.
Yes, thank you. It's really exciting. I'm really happy to be back with the officers out on the street and the community. In fact, we had conversations with the commander just the other day, and I met this lovely couple, Diego and Clemencia, from Logan Square. And it was really nice to hear about the roots that they've planted there, how much pride they have in their neighborhood, and some of their concerns as well as their continuing support for what we're doing in the community. So it's really nice for me to be back out there.
I don't know that the public, and how could they, that the public understands what a beat cop does. Or a beat cop or a street cop does on a day-to-day basis. And it's not sitting behind a desk just filling out paperwork. There's interaction with the community all day. That's how you build a trust, a familiarity. And that's as good a crime-fighting tool as anything.
Yes, absolutely. And, it builds that confidence and trust between the community and the officers. And you develop these partnerships and almost like a friendship that, you care about each other. So you take care of one another and you're willing to share information. And that helps us keep you safer.
Have you ever gotten a cat out of a tree, or is that more the fire department?
No, those are the real heroes, the fire department.
Okay. And this community building thing, is this part of what you feel your mandate is in your new position?
Not necessarily my mandate. I think just in general, law enforcement in general, we still have to focus on the community and building community partnerships because that's the cornerstone of serving the public.
Sure.
So, but yes, in my new position now, I'm thrown into that a little bit more, which I really enjoy.
It seems like, commanders always seem like such a nice person. Are you a tough boss?
You're asking the wrong person.
No, I would.
Well, let's bring in everyone who's ever worked for you right now.
I'm glad I didn't bring my admin sergeant in. She would tell you a different story, but I think I'm a great boss.
Okay, good. Well, I don't doubt that for a minute.
I think you are too. 14 Humble Park, Logan Square, Bucktown, Wicker Park. You cover a very diverse and very large area of the city. And 14, remember, was the district last year where you were spray painting the catalytic converters.
Yes.
Because there was an increase in
I love that.
thefts.
Sprayed them pink, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And John, wasn't it your son who had one stolen?
Yeah, had it stolen. I painted it.
You did not. Stop.
No, I didn't paint it.
You stole it just to see if he was paying attention?
I just wanted to see.
We haven't heard as much about it. Is that still a thing?
It is still a thing, but it's. I don't think it's
we have bigger fish to fry?
Correct.
Yeah.
Sure.
You are back newly from New Zealand, and first of all, you're a fantastic spokesperson for the Chicago Police Department. You're always out there. You're always talking about all the positives going on within the community and the department. But you are back from New Zealand. You were at the International Women's Police Conference. Tell us about that.
Yes, it was an amazing experience. So Chicago is hosting this conference next year, so that's why I was at this year's conference, and it was in Auckland, New Zealand. And they had about 850 delegates representing 75 different countries. So it was truly international, and it was such a humbling and amazing experience to meet these women who are in the law enforcement profession in their country and to hear about the differences, but more so the similarities. So it didn't matter what culture you're coming from, what political climate, we all share a lot of the same struggles and ambitions. And as well, we shared best practices with each other, too.
So you've seen plenty of the good and the bad. Were you surprised in any way with what these women deal with? Or is it that similar in regards to the tough stuff you have to have?
It's similar, but different. I was a little surprised. I sometimes feel that walking into my job, I'm walking into a boys' club. Well, some of the women I spoke to, they have it a lot harder than I do. And, the women on the Chicago Police Department, we are building this, mentoring program amongst the women in the department, which we're allowed to do, whereas in other countries, they're not allowed to do stuff like that. So,
wow.
It was very humbling and also empowering because it just makes me want to, mentor the younger officers that much more.
How does Chicago relate to the rest of the world? I mean, because you were in New Zealand when it comes to promoting and hiring women in the police department?
Well, that's hard to answer because in some of the countries, the women's role in law enforcement is very different from ours. So they might be victim advocates or working with victims, or if a woman is involved in a crime. So it's very difficult to say. how that really all relates, because we have such different roles depending on where in the world we are.
So I hope I'm right about this. When young cops come along, a younger generation of men have grown up at a time where female cops, they're female cops. But the Chicago Police Department, of course, is a microcosm of society. There's old cops who've done it as a lifer and new cops who are just coming in. The stereotype would be the old cops don't get it. I can't believe they let the ladies be cops. And the younger cops would be the guys that get it and appreciate your talent, your energies, and all those things. It's probably not that simple.
It's not that simple. I think we've come a long way just as a society, with inclusion and accepting people in our professions. And those of us in male-dominated professions that happen to be women, sometimes we feel we have to prove ourselves a little more to get that respect. I think that's changed a little bit through the years. 24 years ago when I came on, it was a lot different than now. So, I think it's more accepting and inclusive, and I think people are looking at your skills and abilities a little bit more than just what you look like.
When you talk about the conference itself, do they go over the stuff that you have to come up against is to give you new tools to deal with it? For instance, just the basic thing about women are going to be taken less seriously by bad guys because they're women and they're stronger.
Yeah, that's yes. We've talked about a lot of that, but we've shared our tactics as well. I've always been able to speak to people on the street and relate to them, and I think that's the main thing. If you can relate to someone on the street and treat everybody as a human, that's the key. Then you gain more compliance, and it makes your job a lot easier.
Monday, you're meeting with a group of female law enforcement officials from Turkey. What is that part of a program?
Yes. Yeah, so it's part of the International Visitor Leadership Program, which is the State Department's professional exchange program. So World Chicago helped coordinate this, and so, yes, a group of women from Turkey in the law enforcement field are coming here. So myself and a few other women from the Chicago Police Department are going to meet with them and kind of share stories, share tactics. They want to learn about community policing and some other things we do to support women within our field. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Any initial feedback on the new boss, the new superintendent?
Oh, the new superintendent, it's great.
Because
everyone seems to really
of their
like
own, right?
Superintendent.
Yes, and it's nice because he's been through a lot over the years with us, so I think there's this strong understanding of what we are feeling as, from the police officers on the ground to the command staff. So it's very nice. It's good.
He seems on the ground, like when you say on the ground, that he is. He's out at the events and he's meeting and greeting and talking with you and the community. So he seems very well liked.
Yes.
I would think he'd probably enjoy that more than another meeting in City Hall.
Right. Absolutely.
But that's part of their job, too. There's sponsorship opportunities, I would think, with the conference coming here. If business folks are listening and they want to support the women's conference that's here, what do they do?
Yes, there definitely is. We are seeking sponsors for that. So they could go to the website, IAWP2024chicago.org. So
Let's link that, Miranda.
Yeah.
IAWP. Say it again.
IAWP2024chicago.org.
Okay.
So that's the International Association of Women's Police. So that's the conference that we're going to be holding. And yes, we're looking for sponsorships. We're going to be bringing in, we're hoping to get 1,000 people to come to this from all over the world. So
it's going to be next September at the Hilton.
Stick around. Can you hang out for a second?
Oh, sure. Thank you.
All right. I appreciate you being here. Back on the Big 89 WLS, you need to hear more about this. You need to hear more about the amazing women in the Chicago Police Department.
Yes.
Andrea, reintroduce our guest.
14th District Police Commander Melinda Linas, veteran, breast cancer survivor, commander. What haven't you done?
Yeah, that's exactly right. This is the tail end of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Be aware of this. It goes on in all the other months as well. And you can raise money and help fight the cause throughout. But what do you want to say to women who need to go out and get tested?
Well, that's just it. You need to go out and get tested. It's so important to get your mammogram, even if you're a healthy woman like I was. Go out and get that mammogram. And this goes for the men, too, as far as keeping up with your medical appointments.
Yep.
Early detection is key. And breast cancer is one of those cancers that if you could catch it early, it's very treatable. And that's what saved my life. I caught it early. And I was lucky to catch it early.
Andrea, you spoke publicly. You're one of the few people in town in the media who really spoke publicly about your own concerns about it and when that particular gene became news a few years ago.
Yes, absolutely. There's early detection is key. And you actually have a very sad but good story about this. Your partner was the one who told you to get a mammogram. Is that correct?
Yeah. So my best friend at the time, she was a few years younger than me. She was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. She had back pain and went into the doctor at 38 years old. And I was due for my regular mammogram, but I was the healthiest I was in my life. So I wasn't really, I'm like, okay, if I get to it, I get to it. And she's like, go get it. So I went and got my mammogram and something came back abnormal. And because of her diagnosis and her educating me, I advocated for myself and I wanted that biopsy where they said, we could watch it if you want. I said, no, I want the biopsy.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's important. Even if you're healthy and feeling well and have no signs or symptoms or no family history, please still go out there and get your mammograms.
Absolutely. And
Make it a-
6 year cancer free.
Yes, 6 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
make it a priority. Our friend Mark Doyle is, of course, from Rags of Honor. And John, you know him well. Nick,
Yep.
you know
Love
Mark.
Mark.
And Mark and Kip, for years now, have also done this Jump for Vets thing. And vets and first responders like cops, you know better than most the horrors of PTSD. And what Jump for Vets does is help fund a legitimate treatment that was medical, well, maybe not that long ago, but now it's being adopted everywhere. It's an advanced stellate ganglion block shot with a dual sympathetic reset. All that means is it's able to, on a temporary and hopefully a full-time basis, rewire your brain to help you deal with your life and get your life back. And you guys are helping with Jump for Vets?
Yes. I think this is my 3rd year doing this, and it's a jump rope event. So we are jump roping. It's a 60-minute workout, 2 minutes of jumping with a 1 minute rest in between. So there's a lot of jumps.
Wow.
And
60 minutes of jump rope.
So you're good at jump rope, huh?
Am I good at
Yeah.
No.
Well, you're not.
No.
You're doing it for the cause.
You must be able to do it, though.
Yeah, so I usually get a group of officers and we've gone the last couple of years. I tend to supervise, make sure people aren't hitting each other with the ropes. You know, it's important. Safety's first.
You
There's
can
a
like
rhythm
tag
to it.
team in, right?
Yes.
John, are you jump roping?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Right now. Right now you are.
I jumped in 74.
And that was the last time?
That was the last time.
Okay.
You could be on my team.
I'll
See?
done.
Look at
Done.
that.
If you go to ragsofhonor.org, you can sign up for the event. It takes place at the POW gym, POW gym. And it's a great event. I think is this year 4, 5, 6? He's been doing it for a while.
Couple of years now, yeah.
Yeah, I think this might be their 6th annual. You know, I don't have that with me, but
good for you
yeah.
and your friends for getting involved in this.
Yeah,
sure.
it's so important to treat that PTSD in those first responders and veterans.
And you've had that shot.
I have, yes. Dr. Lipov and I were here a few months ago, I think, talking about it.
Yep.
It's a lifesaver.
It helped you. Like, describe what happened to you once you got that shot.
So it resets your whole flight or flight response, and it makes you able to deal with the trauma that you've seen or felt or dealt with. So it helps you cure that injury of trauma that you have in your brain. And it's just amazing. It was a life-changing shot. And thanks to Mark Doyle for introducing it to me and convincing
best.
me. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So my question is for better understanding of this, because we talk about it, with our friends over at the Road Home program at Russian as well. You can intellectualize that your anxiety shouldn't be there. And as I understand it, that makes your anxiety worse. Is that how it works?
It could, yes. I mean, everybody's different, but in my case, yes, that anxiety, the sleeplessness, all of this, you're like, no, wait, I need to relax. I need to breathe. I need to implement these tools that I have within me
But
to
it's not
deal with
something you can talk your brain out of.
No, exactly. And this shot helps you employ those tools that you have in you to deal with this trauma and the stress that has gone untreated, like many of us on the police department. It's gone untreated for years and years and years because we think we signed up for this job. This is fine. This is what we signed up for. However, we didn't sign up for seeing and dealing with this trauma and not overcoming it, not addressing it, and just boxing it away in our brains.
Look, I've been saying this for years. You don't snap out of it. You don't click it off. You don't go out and get some fresh air.
Right.
You don't cheer up. If you have it going on in your brain. I've had clinical depression my whole life. Mm-hmm. And, the important thing is to admit it and go. The brave thing to do is treat it and take care of it. If you're diagnosed with cancer, this path. You don't go, let's see what happens.
Right.
Exactly.
You know,
Right.
you treat it, and we need to treat mental health the same way.
Yes, and that's exactly why I talk about my breast cancer journey. That's why I talk about mental health. We have to keep the conversation going. It's okay. It's okay. We've all experienced things. Some of us have experienced things that nobody knows about, and we're still dealing with that. So we have to keep the conversation going and make it okay.
And you're always telling, you as police are always protecting us and serving us, but you've been a big spokesperson and a proponent for officer wellness too.
Yes, absolutely. Within the department, we need to look out for one another. It's more than just saying, hey, how you doing today? It's really asking that officer, especially if you're a supervisor, if you know they've seen or gone to a really bad scene, sitting down and talking with them just to make sure that they are okay and that their mind's in the right place, because we're no good to the public if we can't take care of ourselves.
Give me this is a general question, but there's a lot, we live in a time where everybody thinks they know everything because they've got an internet connection and they're on a social media account. Give me 2 or 3 things, or just one if you like, that are thoughts about the police department that you know are wrong that you wish the public would understand are wrong.
Oh, geez.
Myths, if you will.
Some myths. Let's see. Well, I think unfortunately, on the media, they're showing a lot of the negative things that are happening in the city. But what people don't see is what we are doing every day, whether it be, like you mentioned earlier, the beat officers. They're on their beats. They're trying to meet the citizens that live where they are working because they have a vested interest in that area. And many of our officers are patrolling neighborhoods either where they grew up or very near where they grew up. So they have this truly vested interest and passion in creating a safe space in that neighborhood. So I think that gets lost a lot in translation to the public, that these officers aren't just there to be there. They want to make things better. And we want to work with everybody, both within the department and with outside of the department, to make the city better.
Well said. Last word, Andrea.
I think you want to say happy birthday to somebody?
Oh, yeah. My daughter, Alexandra, her birthday is Monday. She's going to be 14 years old. Happy
14?
birthday.
Happy birthday.
She must be a great kid because you look fabulous for the mother of a 14-year-old.
Well, thank you. She is wonderful. And Nicole, my younger daughter's pretty good, too.
Well, so you're blessed.
Yeah.
I am. I'm truly blessed.
Thank you for your
14-year-old's old
service.
enough to go, I want to be this or that. Any interest in keeping the cops in the family?
I don't think so. I'm not sure. She's interested in, I think, public safety, serving the public, but I'm not sure. We'll
That
see.
should make you proud, right?
Yeah,
That you
very
got that
much,
memo.
Yes. Yes.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
If
Thank
she,
you for your service.
Thanks.
you're still very young, but somewhere down the road, maybe she'll take you to Chuck E. Cheese and shove you in the balls. Yeah.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah. Everything on the show has a dual meaning. Kids, catch up. Thank you very much. Thank you for the service every day. Thank you for what you're doing next year for the conference. Just thank you. That's all.
Thank
And
you
please
guys for
thank you.
having me.
Have a good week.
Thank the rank and file, the real people doing the real work.
Absolutely.